the vice chair here. Are we ready to get started?
Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 7. So, because we have a quorum.
Okay, and we'll hope that maybe Ron will join in a moment, and if the commissioner or Michael are able, they'll join, I imagine. Okay, I see Sonny has started the recording. Good morning, everybody. I'm calling this meeting of the Public Safety Communications Task Force to order. It is 11:03 now on November 7, 2023, and I'm Barbara Neal. As a reminder, the meeting is being recorded, and that recording will be posted to the task force webpage following the meeting. I'll start with a roll call of the task force members. If you could just acknowledge your presence when I call your name, we'll start with Paul White.
Yeah, I am present.
Okay, Mike Dunges.
I am here.
And Jim Mack.
Here.
Okay, did we have anybody else join for task force members? It doesn't look like it. Sonny, maybe you can help me keep an eye out in case we do have others that join. Thank you. So also joining us is Sonny Johnson, who's filling in for Callie Audette as administrative support today. And let's go through members of the public who are on the call. If you'd care to introduce yourself. I see Stephen Whitaker, phone number ending in 6687. I believe that's you. If you want to introduce yourself. We're not hearing you, Stephen. Okay, I'm going to move on. There he is. Go ahead, Stephen.
I wrestling with the phone. I'm here.
Okay, morning. All right, Derek.
Good morning. This is Derek Gutscharek with Altaris Consultant. Nice to be here.
Thanks for joining us. Jim Morgan.
Good morning, Jim Morgan with Altaris Technology Partners as well.
Welcome. Joel McCamley.
Good morning, Joel McCamley, 911 Authority.
Morning, Joel. Philip Sisk.
Good morning, Phil Sisk with Mission Critical Partners.
Welcome. And Richard Townend.
Good morning, Richard Townend with Altaris.
Morning, welcome. Okay, let's move on to approval of the agenda. The agenda was distributed to task force members by email. It's also available on our website. Do task force members have any changes to the agenda? Okay, hearing nothing, we'll consider the agenda approved and move on to, oh, we're right to public comment already. Okay. Are there any members of the public who would like to make remarks? Please raise your hand or otherwise indicate. All right, I'm not seeing any hands. Stephen, you usually make some comments. The floor is yours if you wish.
You've exhausted my supply with your responses.
Thank you, Stephen. Okay, we'll move on then to the next agenda item, which is the status of the legal RFP. So I had a message yesterday from Commissioner Morrison that unfortunately there were no bidders on the legal RFP that was recently issued. So the task force may want to consider some next steps here. One suggestion was to reissue the RFP and reach out to legal professional contacts and or organizations like the Bar Association for help in getting the word out about that RFP being posted. Other thoughts on where we might want to go with this?
Yeah, this was kind of my fear from the beginning, that if we just put this RFP out on the state's RFP bulletin board without any whatever, advertising that we might end up in this situation, and we did. So other than the bar, I'm not sure where else we would advertise it.
The League of Cities and Towns would know what lawyers practice in municipal governance.
It's good point. Good
That's a
idea.
good suggestion. And I have contacts through my work at the 911 board with legal professionals that work with telephone companies and telecommunications who we could just make aware of this opportunity. So other thoughts? Okay. Do we want to reissue?
I would think so. I mean, we're kind of, I think we were unanimous in agreeing that having independent legal counsel was a good idea. And that's really the only way we're going to get somebody. Unless we're
So I'll
allowed to
make a-
unless we're allowed to sole source, and even then, I don't know who we would approach. So
Right, okay.
So I'll make the motion to reissue the RFP for the legal services on as many sites as possible.
I'll second that.
I'll second that.
Okay, both Paul and Jim seconded. You can pick whoever you heard first, Sonny. All right, any further discussion on this? I might add to the motion that we solicit the assistance of appropriate professional organizations to get the word out. Do I have to do anything with the motion differently than that, Paul? Okay.
I agree with it.
Okay. Okay, I'm seeing nods of approval. Any other discussion? Right, all in favor of reissuing the legal RFP on as many platforms as possible and with the assistance of professional organizations, raise your hand and or say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
and I'm seeing all task force members have their hands up, so that motion is approved. And I will speak to the commissioner about making that happen. Okay. All right. Next agenda item is the little RFP next steps discussion and the big RFP response evaluation discussion, which historically has been held in executive session. So I'm going to take us through the steps here, hopefully efficiently. So first, the task force needs to have additional discussion about the little RFP next steps and the big RFP responses. As we've done in previous meetings, the task force must first make a finding about the need for executive session, and once that's complete, vote to move into executive session. So step one, I will make a motion that sharing information about bidder presentations and responses publicly would put the task force at a substantial disadvantage in making a decision about awarding a contract to the successful bidder in both RFPs. Is there a second?
I will second the motion to find what you just said. Yes.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by raising your hand or saying aye. I see 4
Aye.
task force members' hands are up. Excellent. Okay, so the next step then is to make a motion, and I will make the motion to move into executive session for the purpose of discussing the little RFP next steps and the big RFP response evaluations. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Jim. And all in favor, raise your hand or indicate by saying aye. All 4 members' hands are up, Sonny, so that motion has passed. Typically, Sonny, and let me know if you're don't have the information you need to do this. Typically, we let our guests know when we are going to return to the regular session. Do you have sufficient contact information to do that? You do not?
No, I
Okay.
do not.
Okay.
Certainly we will leave the meeting open, but though I'll stop the recording, of course. But no, I do not have contact information for
Okay.
all of the people
If
at the
the-
meeting today.
If the meeting stays open, I think people that want to be notified can just put their contact information in the chat.
Yes,
Registry,
we
they
could,
could do that.
Okay, so apologies for not thinking of this ahead of time, but if there are any members of the public who would like to be notified when we return to the regular session, please put your contact information in the chat window, and Sonny will make that notification when we return to the regular session, the regular meeting.
You're discriminating against those telephone callers who don't have a chat window.
We have your contact information, Stephen, so we will let you know.
Yeah, I can send you an email, Steve.
Thanks.
Okay, is there anybody else that would like to be notified in another manner? Okay. Excellent. I will see task force members and Sonny over in the executive session meeting in just a minute.